I guess our story kind of started in 2002.
Well,
Does that sound? I mean, obviously we were married in 1997.
The whole 98 is when we started, when we realized I couldn't
That's right. That's
have children.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll let her take over from here.
No.
That's my portion of the whole my story. In 1998, we realized we decided we'd try to have kids, and we realized about 6 months, 8 months into it, a year into it that
Actually,
we weren't. Well, tell the story.
In 98, the December, it would have been our first anniversary, the doctor told me that I had endometriosis and that we probably would not be able to have children if I waited any longer. So we started in 98 trying to have children. And we went about 6 months, and obviously nothing happened. And so we began infertility treatments. We went and saw a specialist, and we tried everything infertility-wise. He went on a mission trip.
Went to Honduras.
The 1st of June.
Met my brother Joe Autry there.
Yep. And
we had the discussion, and we were in Honduras, Central America, and he told me the story of their adoption process and the horror story of what they went through for their baby, and still, but he said the love was there so much, and God's hand had been in it so much that it was just kind of a sign for us to that maybe this is where we needed to be.
Joe came up to us during Sunday school. David was actually teaching, and he said, "You guys want to adopt a baby from El Salvador?" And we were like, "Yeah." And so we met with the lady the next day and found out about Eliana. Started the process with Eliana thinking that
it would take about a year to 18 months. Is that right?
Yes. Joe and Becky said 18 months.
That's
and
right.
The adoption agent said 9 months to a year.
Right.
And so we started the whole process with her. And about 9 months into the adoption with her, we were anticipating her arrival. Got a call saying there was another child, a little girl, Gracie, and would we like to adopt her as well? And so we prayed about it, and we said yes. So the adoption process being the horrible process that it is in El Salvador, we waited about another year. This would have been almost 2 years into Eliana by then. We found out that we could not adopt Gracie, and we had to relinquish our parental rights for her.
Basically, we found out a year into it that you aren't allowed to do 2 adoptions at the same time. So we had basically grown up with this little girl and lost her, which was it was pretty devastating. So we just kind of continued on praying that Eliana would be home as soon as possible, and then we had a call about a baby in Guatemala, and why we're trying to do 2 at the same time. Your guess is as good as ours.
Because
but
obviously God had a reason for us to be doing it.
We're all about having a full plate, I guess. But
they called us. It was a little boy.
In Guatemala.
Yes, Juan Miguel. That was his name, and we started the adoption process with him. About a month into it, they called and told us that he was hepatitis positive. He would not be allowed to be adopted out of the country, being hepatitis positive. So. I was like, I think God's slamming a door in our face here, Steve. This is not supposed to be happening for us. I said, I've always felt good about Eliana. God has always given me peace, even through everything that we've been through. I've had peace about her, and I knew from the moment she was born that she was ours, and so we had pretty much decided we were going to let it go. We were just going to adopt her, and it was actually that next day our adoption agent called and said, "Don't give up. I've got another baby boy," and it was Luis Manuel was his name, and it's Aaron.
So, anyway, for Aaron, it took the process took a year, and in the meantime, we were still waiting on Eliana, who we had basically been a year and a half into, if not longer, at that point, and so we're kind of juggling this whole process, and finally, about 9 months into it, we get some the paperwork that says we're going to get Aaron, not Eliana. That comes later, but we find and it still takes an additional 3 months. And then we get down to Guatemala. Started out as a 3-day trip, ended up being
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 full weeks. And we ended up calling all our, our senator, basically anybody that had any kind of political pull that we could, and had them pull some strings for us. And we had done everything that was supposed to be done, but it wasn't where it needed to be. And in this whole time, we're just trusting God that this is going to happen for us. And you know, at this, even while we're there, we've got Aaron with us, and we're still not sure we're going to bring him home. And it's like the horror of having that happen was pretty it was pretty tough.
It was torment.
So finally we bring Aaron home. So there is, you know, our story does have happy endings in some sense, which we're grateful about.
In March of 2003. No.
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah, we got the call saying
I'm
that.
I'm the good one with dates,
So,
obviously.
Yeah, well, that's okay. 2004, we could go see our baby for the first time in 2.5 years. So
we went and visited her, spent 2 or 3 days with her, then had to come home and wait another 6 weeks. And we finally went down, and somehow through the whole process, which we still don't understand how it all happened. I mean, we did the paperwork right and all that stuff, but it still seemed like there was a guiding hand over the whole situation. We got into the airport, got on the plane, and ended up in Greenville, I guess 4 or 5 hours later, and just needless to say,
praising God. We prayed every night from the moment we found out about Eliana. We prayed that God would obviously take care of her and prepare her heart for Him, and our hearts and her heart for us and one another. And on our very first meeting with this child, who was 2.5, she walks up to me with a smile and gives me a kiss and says, "Oh, sorry." She says, "Hola, mama."
We're the Boones.
And this is our journey story.